Hello. I know I have been absent for a minute. Let me get this going. But I'm here now. And we're going to chit chat and do what we do. Okay? I know I gave no notice, but here I am. Yes. Here I am. Just wait for folks to come on. All right. We're going to do cards today as well. Okay. We're going to do cards. Say hello. Talk about what's going on in the world. Because there is a lot. And as soon as somebody can come on and say that they can hear me, we'll be all good. Yes. No, I'm still trying to set up properly. But hey, this is live, right? This is not a drill. It's not AI. Yeah, I heard AI change their policies for when it comes down to with AI entities. Hey, Miss Risa. Oh, is Tanya still on? I meant to check that before I started so that I wouldn't interfere. So apologies. Hello. Tell Tanya I said hello. Thank you for popping in to say hi. I will still be here. Well, I don't know what time she started. So, um, yeah, I wanted to come on and chat. Thank you. Good hearing from you. Sorry I've been so absent. um, oh, it started like 20 minutes ago. Okay. My timing, right? Shame on me. Shame on me. But you should have seen what it took me to get here right now. So I'm here right now. So I'm going to start by pulling a card for the day until we get more folks on here. So we can talk about all the Lulu stuff that Diaper Dawn has been doing and then blaming it on others, right? How original. We got Black Moon Lilith in Virgo. Release perfectionism. I'll talk to you later. Okay, thanks for chit-chatting for a moment. We're going to release perfectionism. And this is a very good message because I have been hearing in this with me trying to do things and you plan and you make your goals and so forth and you try to make things so that they go along with what you are planning. And then I was hearing the universe tell me, quit trying to control how the day goes. Lettuce hair, okay. I love my beautiful hair. I love every curl of my hair. I love it. Anybody want a card on here before we get started talking about the actions of the world? We got a horrible situation in Texas. My sympathies to all the family members, the friends, everybody who lost somebody, everybody who is over there. Because we got beautiful hair, that's right. Everybody that is over there suffering, my sympathy goes towards you in what is happening. And everybody that is doing everything over there, especially shame on those doing things for political reasons in this time of tragedy. Shame on them. Ted Cruz, shame on you. And let me tell you about Ted Cruz. Let me tell you a little bit about him. Do you remember when I was saying that everything that happened in the pandemic time around the 2020, around 2020, 22, 20, edge of 23, all of that was a dry run. Not necessarily 23, but it was a dry run. Do you remember when the power went out in Texas? The whole entire state of Texas went out. And where did Ted Cruz go? He went to Mexico. And that was a dry run. Okay. This time around, when them floods happened, them flash floods, when it happened, hey, Brandon, when it happened, he was in Greece. That's another example when I say things were a dry run. Things that happened to you personally, things that happened to us as a collective, it will begin to repeat itself in one form or another. So for me personally, one area that I'm looking forward to during that time, the stock market did really well. I did really well with the market. So I'm beginning to see that repeat itself. So yeah, anybody who's interested in stock talk entities, dividends mainly, because for me it's mostly for the dividends. Yeah, I didn't initially get much response when I started doing that. So those that want to know good entities to invest in, chit chat time. Yes, because that's all we do is share, right? Hey, did you push the thumbs up button yet? Anybody that's here, push that like button. Support the channel. Yes, yes, yes. So with those floods, yes, that too was a repeat. However, the last time that a flash flood happened like that was back in 1986. So it's not weather related. It's not, how do you put it, weather manipulated. If anything, it was not weather announced. Just saying. Because everybody there is saying they didn't get no sirens or anything like that. So it is what it is. Oops, dropped a card. The one that fell out was Black Moon and Aquarius. Honor your individuality. Honor your individuality. Honor who you are, because you are perfect just the way you are. Yes, you are. You are not a mistake by far. God does not make mistakes. Universe does not make mistakes. Therefore, you are perfect just the way you are. So remember that. Yes, yes. And then with those floods, that flash flood in Texas, shame on those who are trying to blame it on DEI. Now it's black folks' fault. Just placing the blame. Why can't it just be, we had a tragedy, how can we come together and help? Maybe we'll stop having so much tragedy like that if everybody can come together in that energy. Because I personally feel, I already feel like we're going to have eventually the population of the earth is going to be less. And it's challenging for me is because I see it, but I just can't see when and how it happens. But I do feel, and I think I have said this before, that it's more Mother Nature because of what will depopulate the earth to what I see. And I know that it's further down the line. Timing wise, I just don't see it because, and I say that because man isn't correcting themselves and doing what they need to do to act like they even got some sense. So why wouldn't nature come in and act like, because you've heard of people say that human beings are the parasite on the earth. I literally feel like the earth feels like doing a polar shift and shaking us off like fleas because the energies that we have are so low for a lot of people. I won't speak for myself. Well, we are human beings, so we all have our moments, but for the most part, if we are connected, us and the earth, we are as one. And if our energies do not match, why wouldn't the earth want to balance itself and have the energy that is good for itself? Just saying. After all, this is for entertainment purposes only, right? Yes. We've been having a lot of situations with these immigration raids. I've talked about them before. They're really, really sad. And I am to the point believing that every ICE individual, everybody who is still working on that level with ICE is because that's what they want. If by now your heart is not torn, if you aren't losing sleep, if you aren't having a coming to Jesus moment when you are snatching people up, pulling them away from their children, listening to the cries, listening to the begging and the pleading, knowing that the things that you guys have been set out to do with your assignments are not benevolent. And if you continue to do these things, that's because that is where your heart is at. And every wrong action that these immigration people are doing, these ICE individual, these different law enforcement officers who are betraying their oath and so forth, they are literally operating at their heart level. If by now they have not walked away and said, let me do something that is for the benevolence of all, because what we are doing right here is wrong, if they are still there now, that's because that's where their heart is. And those who have not left, you need to start thinking about it. Because when they start doing things like building this doggone, what are they calling it? Alligator Alcatraz, alligator Auschwitz, because it looks just like Auschwitz in Germany with the layout and with the bunk beds and everything. And then gonna surround it with alligators and snakes? Oh, come on, people. And you are approving this? Oh, come on. And so there are people out there that are like, yay. And did you see how that, and granted, this is an old airfield, an old airport field, and that's what the land is. But that there was from a rain that came, just a regular rain, not a storm, and that area flooded, and they know this. I think that was a dry run. I do not think for one moment that that was an accident. They know that this is what it's going to do. They brag about how, oh, it was built in just 8 days. Well, you know what I say to that? Who can't put up a tent in 8 days? Because that's all it is a tent. And they're going to house people in there knowing it floods. Yeah. Did you watch Cash Peters, anybody? From his last video when he went into the energy of those people, he saw people like that they were on an island, and he saw like a large portion of them kind of like drift away, and then there was I think he said there was a lot of sorrow and so forth that they were feeling. To me, that says that there is a lot of people that's going to die. And all of this is all for entertainment purposes only. And for the fact that they would do something like that to sit up there and try to scare people to self-deport, why they break our food system by removing all the people out off the farms and so forth. And remember when Diaper Don was running for office, and he was saying how they're taking the black jobs, I'm down to the point, and so are other people that I've seen other videos and so forth. People are literally thinking that black folks were going to go back to the farms. Slavery. Yeah. 2 points. Okay, so I'm sure some people have already heard about it, how they're like, I think it was in Louisiana or whatever, they're offering $11 an hour. And this one particular county, $11 an hour, and the job thing was from May to July, 10 hours a day, $11 an hour. That county, that city, that area, it has a very, very low population, something like 10,000. And I could be wrong on that number, but it's a low number. Yet, the white population of that town, or that area where they voted all of that, they voted mainly Republican, and it's mostly white, 90% white. And then the next number down on this graph that I saw was black. And it was only something like 13%. It was a very, very small number. And it could have been a little bit longer than that. Let's say 23%. And then the next race, and then the next race. And then y'all think black folks are going to get out there? Why don't you 90% that voted for that get out there in the field yourself, instead of saying what black folks aren't doing? And that's another thing that came to me, and I said it in a jokingly. I was here at home watching TV, and I was joking around, and I said, watch Diaper Don sit up there and blame our food industry on black people and say black people aren't doing enough. They're not doing their part. They're not helping us out in the fields when and our food supply is going down. Watch Diaper Don turn around and say some mess like that, because he's now talking about that maybe we will do something with the farm industry, with the service industry, like with hotels and so forth, because there's been people that have been working there for years, meaning Hispanics or whatever, been working there for years, and then all of a sudden, immigration comes along and they're gone. And he said, well, maybe we can work out a plan, something like we will have the farmers become responsible for those that work on the farm. Point number one, that's against the Constitution. No man should be responsible for or own another individual. Okay. Now he wants to sit up there and say we maybe will probably interacting a policy like that, and he used the word owner, and the owners would be responsible for it, for those people, those immigrants on the farm, if we allow them back into the country. That's another form of slavery, because I'll tell you what, to sit up there and say you be responsible for them, they'll sit up there and say something to the fact of they can't leave the property because you are responsible for them. And if they leave the property, then you are once again responsible. So make sure you give them some papers to say who they are. So if they get stopped by immigration, you don't have to worry about them being deported again. That ain't nothing but slavery all over again, because that's what they did with slaves. When they left the plantation for whatever reason, they had a note or whatever from the plantation owner saying that they could go to the store XYZ or whatever they were doing off the plantation. Trying to implement that again. This is when I talk about the Pluto return the way I do, this is it all over again. What happened 250 years ago at this time? Not we, but the United States was creating slavery. They were bringing people from other places for the purpose of slavery. They stole this land, killed off the people of this land, and took the land for free. And now these farmers who are claiming, oh, we've had this farm, have been in our family for 300 years. And well, they took it in the first place. It wasn't theirs in the first place. They took it off of a land that belonged to a native in the first place. So that's a rant. This doggone Alcatraz thing that they're doing, that's another slavery thing as well. Because if you look at history, things during slavery time, they used to feed black people to the alligators or babies, and you have these drawings and so forth on like old cigarette cartons and cereal boxes, tobacco, old stuff. They have those pictures on there of black people being fed to alligators. And now they're doing this, and everybody's okay with it. The government. Did you see what Florida did as far as their voting? They sat up there, a county in Dade County, I think. It was in Miami. So I think that's Dade County. Anyway, they canceled the election. They moved it to midterms, saying that it was for the purpose of, so there'd be a bigger turnout. Point being, they were successful in canceling an election. Dry run, anybody? Remember when I was saying that I feel that this, this so-called fight between Diaper Don and Elon, how I said it's fake. It's all fake. Now, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So be it. This is all for entertainment purposes only. But you remember when I did the last prediction video, quote, named prediction video. I believe it was on that one. It was around that time when I said that I saw another party being formed. And I said it was going to be for the purpose of dividing the votes. Remember that? And I need to go listen to that video to see exactly what it was that I said, because now that Elon is talking about creating a party, and the things that he's standing on, electric vehicles, green energy, crypto, AI, when I say it's for the purpose of splitting the votes, because let's back up a little bit. We got midterms coming up. I have been saying since, if we even have elections, and if we do, they'll be so heavily manipulated, you don't know with the honesty of what it will be. Now, excuse me. when I said that with the midterms coming up, Diaper Don knows that there will be a large come out of Democratic, and he knows that if the Democratic get the House and the Senate, he can get impeached. And he knows this. So there is no reason for me to feel he gonna sit back comfortably and trusting that the elections are gonna come out in his favor. No. So what does he do? He starts a fake fight with Elon. Yeah. Elon says this, that, and the other, makes it all believable. Let's start that other party. Now, he can't run for president, but he sure can finance the hell out of it. Get somebody else up there. There are Democrats who would never, ever, ever go over to the Republican Party, and especially not with MAGA. And then there are Democrats who would leave the Democratic Party if it's on topics as what Elon is talking about. So when you balance out the three, Republican, Democrat, and this new so-called American Party, should it get created, it would be solely for the purpose of splitting the votes. Think about that one. Yeah. Don't know how successful it would be, but it would definitely be a further, let's say Elon's party came about and it won. It would definitely be a breaking of the party, unless it's all fake and we'll just support his agenda some more. Who knows? I'm just talking after all, right? Because none of this could possibly be real, right? Yeah. Blaming the floods on DEI instead of literally they cut the budget. Hello? Here's another thing. I actually listened to the recording. I think it was Tabitha Speaks Politics. I think she was the one that played the video, the recording of the video. So when Biden was in office and when he was doing what was it called? The American Recovery Act or whatever, and it was and each state was getting monies for whatever they needed it for. That particular county, the one that just had this flash flood, okay, they refused the money. They refused the money that Biden had sent the state of Texas. They were saying they wanted to be less government. They didn't want to be in anything that Biden did. They didn't want to participate, support, or be a part of it. Et voila, look what you got. You could have, like Tabitha said, you could have sat up there and bought some, or put in some warnings. Notify the people. But nah. These are the people, your local folks. These are the ones that, when it comes down to some voting, those are the ones you really need to be paying attention to, because they're making with laws and so forth that affect you directly. Think about these things. Instead of just looking at party only, think about these things. Why do you think critical thinking was what they campaigned on and talked about for the past 4 years? No, no, no. We don't want no critical thinking. Come in, what's the first thing they do? Eliminate the Department of Education, because we don't want you educated. We don't want you knowing things. But if you take the time to educate yourself, use your logic, your critical thinking, use your God-given mind, and think about some of these things before you act, before you react. And think about what it is you're supporting. Let's talk about this Israel-Iran thing. Israel just sat up there and gave themselves permission to keep bombing Iran. Because they come out and talking about, oh, there's still uranium in Iran. It did not get all destroyed. That wasn't nothing but a permission slip to continue their colonizing. Yes, I said it. They're colonizers. If you want to think for 1 minute that those European folks they're supposed to be the slaves that came out of Egypt, please. Let's see them be in the sun for more than 15 minutes. Look at their names. They're all European names. Those people in Israel came from European countries because they were kicked out because of the things that they were doing. They went to a land called Palestine. Israel did not exist before 1950, 40, in that area. The year escapes me, but their land was not called Israel before that. It was called Palestine. And since then, they have been continuously encroaching on the land of Palestine, little by little, and then complaining and calling them radical and so forth, giving them the bad name. But they're doing colonization right in front of everybody's eyes and naming themselves the children of God. Think about these things. I even questioned, okay, I said, oh, wait a minute. When I was learning all of this, where did Yiddish come from then? Where's Yiddish? It's a derivative of German. Oh, derivative of German. Okay. Yes, they made up their own narrative because and saying they're the children of the lost tribe that came out of Egypt from the slaves, the one that supposedly Moses led them out and all that kind of stuff. Do you really see those people being as slaves in Africa? Think about these things. Colonization right before your eyes. And that's why here in the United States, the quote, quote, Jews, the Jewish communities, like in New York, how they got their own police force. There's a reason behind all of this. And I got the book, the Talmud, because I wanted to see some of this stuff and understand it myself. So why would they get kicked out of the other countries? And why would Germany go so hard at the time going after the Jews? Why would they? If it wasn't for them being in their country doing the things that they were doing and around Europe, because they went searching for them. So just like things in this country built up to this point, it wasn't like when Hitler was alive, he went, and I'm not condoning anything that Hitler did. So don't get that twisted. I'm not condoning anything like that. What I'm coming against is lies and deception and using God as your excuse. Because that's what they always do it in the name of, right? In the name of God. But let me tell you something that's within their religion as to why sex offenders will go to Israel to escape. Because in the Talmud, which is their version of like their culture, and remember now, these individuals were practicing Judaism. That's why they call them Jews, and they were practicing it around in Europe, in different countries around. Do you know in the Talmud, when they talk about your dowry for your wedding and so forth, and being a virgin, both female and male, okay? And you're supposed to get X amount, 200, whatever the thingy was called, 200 coins, if you were a virgin. Now, if you weren't a virgin, you get 100 coins. But let's say your virginity got attacked as a little girl when you were under the age of 3. She still gets her $200. Okay. And it even mentions in there if she was under the age of 3 and attacked with a wooden stick. They didn't say attacked, but lost her virginity with a wooden stick. What does that say? Up to the age of 3. They're condoning these things up to the age of 3 for a little girl. Now, for the little boys, it's up to the age of 9. So when you have all this child sex trafficking going on and so forth, and children disappearing and things being done in the name of religion, and that's just one topic, and we're supporting Israel because they're supposed to be the children, God's chosen, please, 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 please. People, think about the things that you support and what's really out there. Ask the questions. Ask the questions. I did, because my question was, why would these white supremacists go so far as to say that the Holocaust did not exist? Why would they go that far? Why would somebody want to erase it? To erase the history of it? I can understand why they want to erase slavery once they walk around talking about slavery didn't exist. Why would you say it did not exist when it did? And I was asking those questions about why would the Germans go on so hard after them? Why would they say that Holocaust didn't exist? Was it a different definition than what the word Holocaust is being used? Well, is that the reason they're saying something didn't exist? But all these people that are pro-life and pro-children and all against the sex trafficking and all this other kind of stuff and child abuse, well, then you need to start asking the questions. Ask them to yourselves as well. Ask the questions. Do your research. Study a little bit. Come up with some truer answers. Yeah, I know that was a lot. I know. But it's out there. It is out there. Yes, within their religion, they're okay with it. That literally says that the little girl's hindling will grow back if it's done under that age. Under the age of 3, oh, it'll grow back. She'll still be a virgin. And you pay the dowry according to her trauma, therefore you know what's going on. Yeah. I talked about Cash Peters and how he was mentioning about when he went into the energy of the alligator Alcatraz. Well, at the end of his videos, you know how he always says, for those who watch him, he always says goodbye to his cat. First it was Olive, and then Olive passed. You know, rest in peace, Olive. And then this neighborhood cat came around, and it looked just like Olive, but he started feeding this other cat, and he calls that cat him. So when he signs off, he always says goodbye from him. But this last video, he said, and for me, this was a confirmation for me when I talk about repeats from what happened in that time, the pandemic time. So it was saying, he said, well, him's been gone for 2 weeks now, but he said that he had came to the door. He went downstairs to get some water, and he saw the cat looking through the window, and so he let him in, and then was recording him like he always does. But the cat didn't have a voice, barely had a meow. And for me, that was a confirmation of a repeat, because Dora, my cat, during that time, during the pandemic time, he got locked in the neighbor's shed for 2 weeks, and when he came out, he didn't have a voice. He barely had a meow because he was in there meowing, trying to get out. So that's another example. Now, for me, was confirmation, but repeats of what happened during that pandemic time. Okay, just around that general area and the topics. So I already mentioned finances, about I did good, so I'm looking forward to that, but as well as the virus. So be aware and don't let your guard down, and use wisdom. Okay, use your noggin, use your critical thinking. Yes. What else? I wrote stuff down this time, y'all, so I wouldn't forget nothing. Aren't you proud of me? I am. I'm proud. Did you see that woman in Texas begging for help, talking about their human beings and how come they need help? I saw this one woman. Well, let me finish talking about her. This woman stood up there talking about they were human beings and begging for help, but yet this very same woman, people were like showing her page and the things that she was doing. Oh, she was all for this immigration stuff. She was all for mistreating all these other people and everything that's happening. But now that it's happened to her, oh, we're human beings. We pay our taxes. Help us. It's crazy how people will complain about they don't pay about others not paying taxes. Everybody pays their taxes. Everybody. Jeez. My goodness. Okay, so there was this other woman. This one was funny to me. I can't remember what she was complaining about, but she was complaining, whatever it was. But she was saying, I didn't vote for this. Mr. President, I voted for you. Help us. I'm a white woman. She literally said that. She says, I am a white woman. This should not be happening to me. Help us, Mr. Trump. You thought you had the complexion for the protection, didn't you? Yes, didn't you? Funny, funny, funny. And all these fake people, I'll just straight out calling them fake. There are people that are MAGA and Republican out here acting as if they are not, and then returning back to their platforms complaining about XYZ. There are people acting like they are MAGA just to find out what they really want to, what they're really saying. And there are literally people that thought that when Trump was saying, when Diaper Don said that they are taking the black jobs, that they literally thought they were talking about the fields. Like black people are supposed to be, oh, yay, we get to go back to the fields. They ain't done that for years. It's called Start a Garden. Yes, a beautiful, bountiful garden. Grow your own food. Set yourself up. The way things are changing, you don't want them to go so far as to, I don't even want to go there because I don't even want to. Grow your own food. Grow your garden. Store your seeds. That's because that's the next thing I'm going to start doing is storing my seeds from what I've grown, just in case they're not available later, to try to prevent people from growing their own garden, so on and so forth. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes. Well, let me see. Did you see that airplane fight? that that man got his noggin clocked. I watched the video of the dude that did the fighting. Hello, Aline. I did the I did. Well, was that Cole Bryson said that it took Biden 2 months to show up in North Carolina? I don't believe it took 2 months. He was there uh, during the campaigning. Trump was going ahead and of FEMA and trying to get into the communities and placing those lies saying FEMA's not here to help you and FEMA's going to take your property and FEMA this, FEMA that. And folks were using shotguns, telling them FEMA people that were coming around trying to see if they needed help, trying to say, get off our property and all this other kind of stuff. They spread the lies and hurt yourself. And now you want to sit up there and try to say that, well, hell, it took Biden 2 months. Well, watch Trump not come at all. If you want to say 2 months, watch him not show up at all. Why would that happen? Oh, because he's dismantling FEMA along with everything else. It really cracks me up for people to complain about what Biden did and did not do, even when they call it the pandemic. Remember, people, when the pandemic came along, Trump was in office. Once again, repeat of what happened back then. It's going to come back around again. Trump was in office when the pandemic started. So it was his administration. So if people want to sit up there and talk about a pandemic, it was under Diaper Don's administration in the first place. They want to talk about the vaccine and all this other kind of stuff. Well, hell, it was created under Diaper Don's administration. And he even took the vaccine as well. But had you convinced otherwise, just to break you guys down, to get what he wanted. So when you start talking about what did and did not happen, think about it. Think about the timing of when it did happen and who was in office. And now that Diaper Don's back in office, don't expect, we ain't even got the weather reports anymore like we used to, letting us know what storms and hurricanes are coming. So good luck with that one. No FEMA. He's planning on cutting Medicare. And see, here's another thing. Why would a lot of this bill that passed, why would a lot of it not take place until after the midterms? Think about that one. Until after the midterms. Because they want to try, let's say he loses and gets impeached or whatever the case may be. And Democrats have both the House and the and the Senate. Let's say that is the case. And then this bill that is passed, you don't have medical anymore. You don't have FEMA. You don't have the Department of Education. You don't have food stamps. You don't have. And who do you think they're going to try to blame it on? Democrats. Because people easily forget. So think about those things. This man is not going to sit up there and be comfortable. Doggone, what's his name? Netanyahu. He got, he's considered a war criminal. He has to face the world courts. And we're inviting this person to the White House on a regular. Okay. This is what America does now. People need to stop and think about things in the timing of. I've said for a while now, stock up. I've been saying it, sounding a little on the off the rail side when I've been saying stock up. And I've been saying prices ain't going to go down. Remember, I said 2020 and then when prices went up, remember how they went up? They didn't go back down. Get used to it. I said it before. It's going to be the same thing all over again. Stock up on your food. Stock up on your goods. You got growing children? Buy some clothes, big size ahead. It's not saying that the things won't be there. It's like saying we don't know what the prices are going to be like. Look how many people are losing jobs. We now have doctors and nurses and so forth. People, well, they're not starting with the doctors, but they are with the nurses and so forth. Folks losing their jobs in the hospitals. And hospitals going to be closing down. Ask yourself when these things are happening. Because they presented this question on the campaign trail. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? At this point, can you say, are you better off than you were last year? Look how many jobs have been lost. I don't believe for one moment the jobs reports. You got all these people losing their jobs and the job numbers are going up? Really? Oh, okay. We got food rotting on the farms and job numbers are going up. Okay. You got cows that can't be milked. It's going to happen real fast, this tumble. It's going to happen very fast. So stock up, prepare. Don't allow it to come flooding at your door because you didn't pay attention as to what was going on around you. Prioritize. What's really important? What really is important to spend the money that you do have? And as you keep thinking, those that are traveling around the world and so forth, I've said it before. These people going on out the country, eventually, watch, it's going to be challenging for folks to get back in. Especially those with dual citizenship. I think that they're going to begin to do stuff in the background. So be careful in your actions and thinking things aren't going to affect you. Because I had to sit up there and say, I'm acting like MAGA right now. I'm ready for everything just to get tore up. Let's start over. But it ain't going to affect me. Because that's the reality of where we are. Things are changing. And if you haven't noticed the changes, then I don't know where you've been. I'm just saying. Okay, let me make sure I ain't. That one. Okay, I started talking about that airplane fight. I watched the interview of that guy, and he was really the dude that whooped the other dude's ass. Yeah, he was really a sweet guy. But interesting enough, he's up there getting on his page. People are like attacking him as to saying, "Why didn't you? If you's a Christian, if you's a man of God, why didn't you use your words first?" Instead of hearing his story. Literally, the news reports are running with the people who posted the video, who were sitting at the front of the plane and started videotape recording it after the fight had already started, and not knowing that this man was sitting behind him. The dude that got beat up was sitting behind him, and throughout the flight was threatening his life and talking about doing all kinds of stuff to him and all that. This man even got up out his seat, went to the bathroom, let the flight attendants know what was happening. They literally told him, "We are aware of what he is saying and what he is doing." They asked him to go back to his seat, and if it continued, to push the button, the flight attendant button, so that they can come, blah, blah, blah. He gets back and so forth. The man continues on, and the dude asked him, "Man, what's your problem? What's wrong?" He said he rose up and put his forehead to his forehead and literally started choking him. I'd have been whooping his ass too. How you gonna threaten me and then put your hands on me and think that it's not? Please, please, all of these people who think, oh, and let me say this, black folks out there, it's not a new tactic, and we know this. It's not a new tactic. When somebody comes up to you, "Oh, I like your hair. Oh, I love your outfits." Really being nice and trying to compliment you. And then next thing it comes along with, "Where did you get the money to buy that?" Or where do you live? You don't live around here, or it's a gateway. Be careful. Don't fall for it. People using kindness to trick you. Keep your extra eye open. Keep your head on a swivel. Just saying. I am just saying. So, what else did I not talk about? Oh, the energy. Okay, reason why I hadn't been on here, not just working a lot, trying to get things all set up, prepare, being in the just in case position, but the energy. Me being so tired. Yes, like I've been just dealing with it, and the empathic part of me feeling the energy of others, even down to feeling others in my house. I mean, it's like, come on, this is, I don't want to say it's getting ridiculous, but it's real. I've been literally, because I believe that our gifts are heightening, and those who are awakening to their gifts. Yeah, so for those who have gifts, it's heightening. So my empath is heightening enough to where I've had it to where somebody else in the house was hungry and they started feeling nauseous. And all because I had come in the house to get something, and I was getting ready to go back out. And all of a sudden, I just started getting nauseous, and I thought that I was going to have to run to the bathroom because all of a sudden I had to throw up. And then Jason asked me if I would fix him something to eat because he was feeling nauseous. And then I was like, "Oh my God," and I was like, "Yes." And then he said, because a few seconds later he was saying because he was feeling nauseous, and I had said yes, even though I was still feeling nauseous, but it like went away like that, and it wasn't until he said he had been feeling nauseous, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I thought I was going to throw up." He said, "Yeah, that's how I was feeling." So it happened the other day and again today. So when these things happen to you, pay attention. Don't just quickly run to the, what did I eat or anything along those lines. When you get whether it's thoughts, whether it's hearing, whether it's feeling, sensing, knowing, when things come to you, it's hard to say thank you on something like you feel like you got to throw up. However, on the intuitive, whatever part of your body that it comes through, whatever channel it comes through, say thank you. Especially, well, always, but with those that are developing their gifts and awakening to it, say thank you. Recognize the feeling. Remember, your intuition is a muscle. And as you exercise it, you will begin to recognize it more. Okay? I always say don't put labels on what's coming to you. Learn it, recognize it, know it. Then if you have to put a label to it, then do it at that time. But when you begin to put labels to stuff, you give your power away, you give yourself away, and you begin to compare yourself to another on how they are feeling it. Learn you first. Learn your seeing, your hearing, your knowing, your sensing, your feeling before absolutely putting a name on it. I barely put a name onto mine, but for the fact that when it does come through in the different ways, then I'll be like, okay, did I see that? Did I feel it? You know, in trying to tell somebody about it, but it always comes back to, it doesn't matter. It came to me as, yes. And I'm not so quick to give it away and say, oh, it was my guide, it was my angel, it was, because in truth, it's you in what you heard or whatever. But don't give your power away that it doesn't come from you. That don't it's always somebody else. No, it came from you. Recognize you. Say thank you to what you received, what you saw, what you know, what you heard, what you felt. Exercise that muscle. Get to know that muscle, okay, before naming it. Okay? So, it's been a minute now, almost an hour. Thank you for all that came. Let me give a card. I'm going to pull right from the middle somewhere for us to go. And we receive Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn. Elevated status. We just got through talking about your intuitions and so forth and the different various ways they'll come through. Okay? Confirmation. All right. Thank you. And let's all say it together. I am love. I am light. I am all that I am. And so are you. So until the next time, have the most benevolent day.